Welcome, everybody. Thanks for coming. I'm Tom, if we haven't met. This is Drew, and
Hey.
we will have Kim's coming. She's getting kids in school. And Mindy, I don't know if she'll be online with us or she'll be here in person. Hopefully she'll come in person.
Yeah.
And then we got Ashley Kaler is going to be our other special guest. So happy end of 2025.
Yeah.
We got 13 more days left.
Yeah.
Of school.
Yeah.
School days. Yeah, this is the most important part of the time of the year. I always say it's like really hard to because there's so many interruptions because of holidays, but keeping the academics going.
Yeah.
So we've just our teachers work so hard. But it's like every minute matters. Like what can we continue to do, even like in small, moments, because we'll have here at the high school, we'll have a lot of testing going on
Yep.
over the last like 8 to 10 days, and
Yep.
also at the middle school. So keeping your kids refreshed and energized and good sleeps and
Yeah.
as much as possible is always really helpful. So thanks for all the folks joining online too. You guys can hear us okay? No issues? All right, awesome. One of the things that last night we had a great information session.
Yeah.
We had 3 classrooms filled here. So it was over 80 people were here. I don't know how many, exact families, but there
Sure.
were some, giant ones.
Yeah.
And so that was just fun for them to get to tour the new high school. I know when you guys, a lot of the new high school students, like moms, dads, they didn't get a chance to see it until like
Yeah.
first day of school almost. So so it was neat. And if you haven't, if you're here and you guys want, I'll take you down to the innovation lab where they were doing all the robots last night. It was pretty neat.
Yeah, cool.
So there's a lot of things, happening here, on both campuses, obviously. And so we're just really excited. It was just some really good energy to have like a parking lot. People could park and they didn't worry about construction and things like that. So it was really, really great. One of the things I love to do is, I don't know how many of these we've had, maybe 8 to 10 over the last couple of years. But I also like to go back and read notes from these meetings, but also the notes from the climate surveys that we do for the parents. And I was like, okay, are we listening, right? Like, are we hearing what you're talking about? Oh, there's Mindy. Perfect. Hey, Mindy. And so I was just looking like over the last year, right? Some of the, concerns were, oh my gosh, the school is going to get larger because we've grown from 400 students as a school to almost 600 students, and we've grown from 28 staff members to 55 staff members now. So we're basically doubling. And one of the concerns was, oh my gosh, you're going to have, the counselor ratio still and the staff ratio. And I sent it out, this morning, an email. Like we're actually almost lower now than we were 2 years ago. So we're going to continue that trend. I think that was, folks came in last night with like an impression, right? That we, because the school got bigger, that means, classroom sizes also got bigger, and they didn't. Average class size is, 18 to 20 here. We've got some larger, 24 is our tops. You won't find 25 chairs. Well, the 25th chair is for the teacher.
Yeah.
Here at the high school and obviously the middle school, I don't think we have any bigger than 18 because there's just not the space that they do. So that's always going to continue. So we've got 3 full-time counselors to 400 high school students. One of them who's going to speak today, Mindy Larson, she's our college and career advisor. So she's doing a lot of time with the juniors and seniors. So we asked her to talk about what she's doing. They asked, what new sports will we have? And I know we've expanded our sports on both campuses.
Yep.
So, and some of your kids may have participated, but can you talk about our cross country team?
Yeah. So our girls cross country team made it to state this year. It's their second time making it to state. Their first year was last year. And they made it to state this year without actually one of their top runners was out. So it was pretty cool for them to make it back to state, which is a huge accomplishment. They have to finish top 8 in their region, which our region is over in Jacksonville. So we compete with a bunch of the powerhouse private schools from Pensacola to Jacksonville. And so they made it to state. And then our boys team, which is a really young team of mostly freshmen and sophomores, they were 4 points away from making it to state. But 2 of them qualified as individuals. So Carter Jackson and Josiah Hicks both qualified as individuals because they were the top 2 in a team that didn't make it to state. So they all got to go compete in Tallahassee. I went and watched. It was a lot of fun. It was hot. It was a hot day. It was not unlike today, which was only a couple of weeks ago. But yeah, they had a lot of success. We had some kids boys on the swim team make it to regionals, and we had a girls golfer, which this year was our first year having golf. We had one of our girls golfers advance to outside of districts,
Yeah.
so it's pretty
I
cool.
know in the spring, like our golf program really expanded.
Yeah,
And then we had our high school golf team this year,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
And the two coaches, and well, three really, Annie Sheets, and Kelly Trafton, right? And
Yep,
then Chip and then Cav,
yep.
have really helped out. So the one that I think the things that's maybe most important that maybe not everybody knows is last year we had one athletic director, and he also served as, like an assistant principal.
Hmm.
So now we have two athletic directors. We have one for every campus. So
Hmm.
hopefully that is improving the communication and the structure.
Hmm.
One, battle that we always have is we don't have facilities, so we rent everything.
Hmm.
And so what I don't know what we charge. Is it $50 per athlete,
It
maybe?
depends on the sport.
Yeah.
Yep.
So that doesn't even come close to covering,
No.
right, what costs are. So, race funds help that,
Mm.
right? Days like yesterday. So when folks say you're always asking for money, so well, it's really expensive to run sports programs
Yeah.
because we don't get money for sports, right? We have to raise the
Hmm.
money for, and I don't know what gate we probably don't get a lot of money, but it
No,
definitely doesn't cover the cost of a tennis court or
no.
like the swimming or like the swimming pool.
Referees, umpires. Yeah,
Or the charter bus to take kids,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
So those are things I think we paid, $4,000 or $5,000 for the charter bus last year because we
Hmm.
would rather the kids. So anyway, so those are the things. So I know like a lot of folks ask, you're always asking for money. Well, it's nothing's free here. So hopefully the communication's better. The sports will continue to grow. I don't know. Do we have any new spring sports happening?
No, none at the high school.
Okay.
Yep.
And what about the middle school?
I'm not sure if they have any new ones, but I know softball, they at one point they were a club, and I think they may have already transitioned to an actual in the conference play.
Yeah. So we'll have some new coaches, I think, in that area.
Yeah.
Yep. Security was one, right? So that was a concern last year. And so just so you all know, in this building, you can't get into any classroom without a code or a badge.
Mhm.
And the students only have access to a code in the middle rooms.
Mhm.
So that code only works in one place and it only works during school hours.
Mhm.
We have had to change codes because we have seen some students somehow get a code, whether it's over the shoulder looking, or maybe a teacher said, hey, my code's this, hop in real quick. But then we have full-time school resource deputies at both campus, and you've met Deputy Williamson here and Gambino. So they're always outside, always walking around. We've got a new courtyard, right? So we're learning as we go and we grow
Mhm.
about, who's on campus. But I've been really, and there's also college security
We do.
too.
Yep.
So I've been really impressed, right? We haven't really had any to this point,
Yeah.
right? Who's that person,
Right.
right? College people are staying on the college side, and we're over here. So it's pretty obvious, kind of most of the time, who's our kids and who's not. So, and at the middle school as well, it's the same, same piece. We're always working on security there. So you can't get into any classroom from the outside building or the inside. So I don't know if you know this, Eastside neighborhood, every room internally also has a lock now, and that happened last year. So you can't get in any classroom without some sort of access
Mhm.
on either campus. So, and then we will put up some sort of fencing on the outside here eventually. Hopefully by the end of this school year, it'll be in. So that's with security. So I think, so if anybody has, concerns or they see something, we know both campuses are open, but they're pretty locked down. And the fact that we've got almost 30 adults just on our campus every day here at the high school,
Mhm.
we can usually notice someone who doesn't belong pretty quick.
Yep.
So I don't know if there's any questions in the chat. So in the chat. Is there? Oh, someone's reading. Someone's letting us. So is it your AI? It's probably
No,
you.
it probably is actually if I accepted the invitation.
One of the points last year was about the schedule. And this is morely a Seacoast issue, but the schedule, like the communication between South Walton and us and the college us. Drew, can you explain how many organizations we have to work with
Yeah.
to make our schedule?
Yeah. So we deal with obviously the college because we have over 50 of our sophomores that take college classes, and so unlike a high school, which at South Walton they meet every day, we changed our schedule this year to allow our 10th graders to go over and take a college class. And so the college, you take them on Tuesday, Thursday for an hour and 15 minutes, or Monday, Wednesday for an hour and 15 minutes. So we've got to manipulate our schedule so that our students can take their college classes in the mornings. Our 10th graders that have for math, the kids that have already taken geometry and algebra 2, they go take college algebra and college pre-calc as a sophomore. And we have some other kids taking other classes. So I work with them. And then I also have kids in jazz band and regular band and lacrosse and football over at South Walton that take classes sixth and seventh period. So I have to, at the end of the day, manipulate my schedule to fit so that the kids can go take those classes over at South Walton. So I deal with those two, but then we also have kids that play sports at Rocky Bayou. They go to Niceville, they go to Destin, and they do all this. So I'm probably working with 6 or 7 organizations to get kids their specific, what they need. So it's not always perfect, but it's about as good as
Yeah.
we can do.
And they're
Yeah.
all much larger than us. And I'm not saying they don't care, but
Yeah.
right, they're like, well, this is what we have to do. And
Yeah.
Julie's like, okay, we will figure it out.
Yeah.
So, but we have worked, on the communication. And if your son or daughter does go to class over there, like we do monitor that,
Mhm.
right? But it's technically their kid during that hour or
Yeah.
90 minutes.
Yeah.
So it's like, sometimes we get emails about, hey, this isn't happening. So, well, have you contacted, the teacher or the principal at South
Mhm.
Walton High School? Because that's
Yeah.
not actually our,
Yeah.
situation. But we are working on finding good pathways for our students to leave our campus to get over there safely.
Mhm.
Moms and dads, if your kids are coming home with muddy shoes, like I'm telling you, we have tried,
Yeah.
but they are walking right through the retention ponds
Yeah.
here.
Yeah.
And as many times, as many
Yeah.
barriers
Yeah.
as we
Yeah.
put up,
Yeah.
they just
Yeah.
sneak by the barrier. So now it's all sodded around the outside.
Mhm.
So,
We're getting
make
the
it,
classrooms today to talk
yeah, we're
about
gonna
that.
get it and
Yeah.
just say, guys, just walk around the grass
Mhm.
and, or walk
We've
on the
got a
road.
path for them. Yeah.
Yeah, they like the shortest distance. I don't know if you guys all realize that as moms and dads. So that is something. So we do work, diligently with all that, and Kim does as well, trying to work with the town of Seaside as they have, events on our campus and all the parking and a drop off as well. Which we got some really great news about the drop off at Van Ness, and Kim and I will talk about that in a second. Um, and then we also have on both campuses, not just daily tutoring at either at lunch or in the morning or in the afternoon, but each campus has built in like kind of midday time where there's additional
Yep.
opportunities. So if you want to share about SDS.
Yeah, so we have the SDS period, which I know I've talked about in previous meetings, which is Monday through Thursday. We have about a 30-minute period that kids can go get extra help from teachers. And we've targeted certain kids that we tell you have to go see, a reading coach or a math coach. But what we've also done is we beefed this up to now we have Mr. Chad is actually offering CAD certifications during that time. So kids can go get a different CAD certifications. Kids that aren't in like cybersecurity in the actual class, like if it didn't fit, they can come to him and go get tutoring to take that that CompTIA Security Plus certification. And then when we come back from Christmas break, I'm going to start drone certifications for kids. And so we'll be flying all around this place.
Yeah. And I was like, oh, Chad, like, what does this mean? Give me an example of these certifications. He goes, okay, this student right here is like, have you seen Guardians of the Galaxy? I'm like, yeah. He goes, do you know Rocket? I said, yes. He goes, okay, this guy's learning how to create Rocket in a movie simulation. So, and then if you've seen our robotics team, and I was just reading recently that potentially if you're about 8 to 10 years old, you may never have a driver's license or may never need one because of the autonomous, drivers. And I remember our kids were talking about they have an autonomous, setup. So part of the robotics is
Yep.
they code and program their robot to go do something. I'm like, oh my gosh, our high school kids are learning how to program maybe
Yeah.
down the future, right?
Sure.
Like a car or like a shuttle,
Mhm.
which would be great in 30A, right? They would get those golf carts off the road and we just do it that way. So maybe or maybe not. So there's a lot of exciting things. And Kim, can you talk about how you guys are addressing students who need additional support throughout the day and after school as well?
Sure. So yeah, we've got all kinds of tutoring after school that is available. On Wednesdays, we do hold a kind of open study hall for any student who wants to come work on any kind of things. We also started a new program called the ZAP program, which basically means zeros are preventable. And so teachers are giving students opportunities to, if they didn't turn in an assignment, they'll get a ZAP notice,
Sure.
and the student can come and complete that assignment on the next Wednesday or any time up until that Wednesday, and get it turned in for credit, which is a great opportunity so that we don't have students hit with zeros. Um, and then we also are doing a lot with our MTSS team and finding those students who need additional support in either ELA, math, or even just basic organization and functional skills, and finding time for them to either come out of the classroom and work with one of the coaches, or working on some additional supplemental material after school, either on their own or with us. So yeah, we've got lots of awesome support systems in place for this year.
Yeah. And Kim, can you share, I think you told me, I'm pretty sure that our gifted program that is, supported by the school system, she's doing more this year or something different, right?
Yeah, so last year we got a lot of feedback from students as well as parents on the gifted program. And we do have our fifth and sixth graders meet one day a week for lunch. And then we have our seventh and eighth graders meet and on another day for lunch, which just helps them do a little more age appropriate kind of activities. But they really did want some additional time. So we have our fifth and sixth graders meet at lunch on Wednesdays. And then on Thursdays, the seventh and eighth graders meet during lunch. But during our advisory time, which is right after lunch, all fifth, sixth, seventh, and eighth grade gifted students are invited to come to the second kind of half of the gifted meeting, which is during our Thursday advisory time. So added another 20 minutes of that gifted time and enrichment for those students to our week.
Right. And that's on top of two, like
The
multiple
lunch.
days a week, right? So it's actually more. So yeah, so we are, and then that's on top of the stuff that our teachers are already doing in the classroom. So
That's right.
and then there's just one more thing that I'll hit, and then we got our two counselors. I want to make sure. But there was some, what like electives that aren't a technology that you'll be offering. So I know both, campuses have added. So Kim, you guys have added theater or the drama class. Is there any other, and then advisory? What other electives, if there's any, from the middle school?
So we have we've added the theater class. We've added 2 high school level art classes for those eighth graders who are wanting to, just really kind of expand into their art or their artistic ventures. So we're excited about that class. And then, we have our general, the culinary and the band. And leadership it's not brand new this year. It's only the second year that we've had the leadership class. And she's
Mhm.
doing some great work with some podcasting and just habits of highly effective people. So not only are they working on kind of that leadership mindset, but some of those leadership habits for them to start working on and forming so that they can just get some practice and be that much better at them.
Yeah, and that's through Covey's material, right? So is that are they reading the book, the teens book?
I don't remember which one they're reading, but they are kind of doing
Yeah,
a book
Seven
study
Habits of
through.
Effective Teens. Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, it's fun stuff. Cool. And then here at the high school?
Yeah, so we've had historically we haven't had hardly any arts. We've only had one art class, which was at the end of the day. So we were able to hire our own art teacher. We were bringing the neighborhood school teacher up here for one period, so we hired our own this year. So we've added 2D studio art, and then we've also added AP art as well. And then we also have 2 periods of musical theater as well. So we've I mean, we've really beefed up our electives as far as The arts go, we're still not done, but it's definitely it's been a huge improvement. I mean, you can see the kids are able to take a lot more classes that they like. We were also, non-technology wise, we also added the QuickBooks and bookkeeping certification. So last year we just had the entrepreneurship course. And then this year which we had a couple years ago, business law and fundamentals, and so they actually take the bookkeeping and QuickBooks certification by the end of the year. I think they're about to test next week for the bookkeeping cert.
And they'll be part of our entrepreneurship program, which I'll talk about here in a second.
Yeah.
But I did some informal surveying, students with like a leadership class here at the high school. They talked about like a mock trial or like a law class. And then which Ms. Larson's going to talk a bit about, we definitely want to move into some medical type, sciences as an elective. It's just, finding the adult who could do it is always the challenge. But those are some other areas that we are, we're looking at here, and not just here, but to bring them down to the middle school as well, looking at AI and other areas.
The art club is a plus. Inslee really enjoys it. So every Wednesday, and they get to mingle with the upperclassmen. So it's really good for
the art classes, and they have a musical theater club too. So if they're not even in the class, they can join the club.
Right, that's how
for the upperclassmen too, because most of them aren't going to come take a musical theater class every day, but they'll join the club and be in the productions and stuff.
Yep. Super fun. So lots of great things happening in Bookie. So I just want to kind of let you, we do listen, we do read, we do try to put, pieces in play. We read the student surveys and the feedback and okay, what are some ways we could do this? It's not always easy because we do have to do all of our normal school work too, but electives are very important as we want to continue to teach the whole child.
Yeah. And one thing that's pretty cool that I'll kind of brag on Dr. Miller a little bit. So you guys may not know, during the COVID years, we actually got money from the federal government to do tutoring. Well, that money went away almost 2 years ago. And so Dr. Miller was gracious enough to continue doing that. So our teachers are probably the only ones in the entire county that get paid still to do tutoring. So we pay for anything before or after school. So that's a huge compliment to Dr. Miller letting us do that, because it's not cheap. And we do pay our teachers really well. So that's pretty cool.
And we're looking for college student volunteer tutors too. We've got some great college students that are tutors, and I know Ms. Armstrong has been trying to recruit them. And I said, tell them that we'll pay them. So hopefully in January we'll also have another group that can also help our students, because every different voice matters, so that'll be awesome.
That's cool.
All right, we got Mindy and we got Ashley. Are you there, Ashley?
I'm here.
Okay, perfect. Who wants to go? Oh, Ashley O'Hara.
Yeah.
I love it. All right, Miss O'Hara, Mrs. O'Hara. You want to go first with your parent university? This is exciting, and congratulations. It's the first time I've seen.
That's right. Yeah.
It's the first time I've seen your new name. So now I gotta retrain my brain.
I know. Well, me too still. I am super excited. I have had a project that I have wanted to do kind of since the beginning of being here. And thankfully, now that the wonderful Miss Megan Vanderbond has taken over testing, she's incredible, by the way. If y'all have not met her yet, she's awesome. I finally have the bandwidth to start doing some of the programs I've been wanting to do. And one of those is Parent University. So January 27th at 5 p.m. upstairs in the third building, we are going to host a informative session with several guest speakers about navigating technology. It's a huge thing in our world. Obviously, it's something we all interact with every day, and we want to give our parents the tools to help them support their students with our platforms that we use every day at school, to help them be more effective as students, those study habits, so that you guys are informed on how to navigate those to help them. They can't come home and be like, oh, I don't know, because you can be like, oh, I can figure this out. Let me on that computer. I'll help you. And get on there and just learn how to navigate it as the parent in order to support them. And then also just the general safety component of navigating technology. Obviously, it's been very prevalent in the news lately. There's just several risks to being interactive with technology, whether it's just during the school day or at home using social media and, texting and all that, what they do has consequences. And so we want to make sure that they are aware of what those consequences are, that they are being good digital citizens. And so we're going to have an expert from the sheriff's office come and discuss that component. And then we're also going to have a mental health counselor come and discuss those implications of technology on teen mental health as well, because that's a huge part of what we're seeing emerge over the last few decades being a significant impact on their lives. And so we want to make sure we're giving you guys the tools and information to have those discussions with them successfully, and not just an I told you so kind of thing, but here's why I'm telling you, here's why I want you to navigate it this way, and be able to really have successful and open conversations with your kids so that they always feel they can come to you guys to help them navigate that landscape, because it's so important.
The irony was too good.
Yes.
Love it, Ashley. We missed like 3 seconds. Can you say that last sentence one more time?
Yeah, just that we're trying to help them, help parents be able to have that dialogue and navigate that landscape with their kids, not just school technology, but also their personal technology at home, because that can be a huge point of resistance in the home. As someone who just inherited stepkids, I know that we have to have those discussions regularly, and sometimes it's not always met with positivity because they love their technology. So any attempts to regulate can be frustrating to them, but we want to give you guys the tools to explain to them why that's so important.
Yeah, it's awesome. And so how do folks sign up for it, Ashley?
So you don't have to sign up. You just come on January 27th. We'll have some light refreshments. We'll have our 3 guest speakers. And we just ask that you guys come ready to learn, because it's going to be super informative. We're not going to be preachy, I promise. It's just going to be some really great facts and strategies and information for you guys to have on hand.
Yeah, great. Love
January? Is that when?
27th.
Of January.
Yeah. It's at 5, right, Ashley? January 27th at 5?
Yes, upstairs in the 3rd building of Seaside.
And it will be good content for all ages of families or middle school. I can't remember if we talked about that.
So we have specified it to middle school. Now, if we see it super successful here, I would be happy to try and support and move towards a high school presentation. They are a little bit different in navigating everything. So we can definitely, hopefully it goes phenomenally and everyone feels it was a success, and we will try and maybe move it to the high school level. And schedule a program there as well. I'm happy to help with that. But we do ask that it be parents only. There are going to be some topics that are adult in nature that, we're trying to navigate with our kids. And so I think if we have only parents in the room, that'll be a more comfortable conversation as well.
Yeah. I hear you. This is so important. I mean, last year, I went through this and I just put a message out to some families about, I think it was like Snapchat or something. I had no idea about these things. And I had a couple parents say, "Hey, thanks. I never really looked at it." And my wife does a good job with that. I'm not as good as I should be. But those conversations are so important because I didn't grow up with group chats, right? You just went outside and group chat, which was bad enough, right? So thank you, Ashley, for taking on this really important challenge. So appreciate you with that. It's going to be great. We'll keep on supporting you. And Mindy, are you available? Mindy, our new college and career advisor, if you haven't had a chance to meet her, Mindy Larson.
I am available.
There she is. All right. Perfect. All right, Mindy.
All right. Good morning, everyone. Very happy to be with Seaside Schools. We have been focused this semester on developing a comprehensive 9 through 12 college and career counseling program. And I know eventually we're going to work on both middle school and high school. But this year, just working at each grade level to make sure that students are supported with college and career exploration. First semester, of course, was focused on the seniors and getting their applications in on time and giving them all the resources that they need. Just working through ninth and 10th grade, where we've onboarded them in Zello, and we're doing career exploration through Zello. They 9 through 11, they've all taken a survey, or we're getting there, survey on careers that they're interested in. And in that process, we're working on finding professionals in the community that we might be able to match them up with to do career shadowing or even internships at the sophomore, junior level. Second semester, we are working on careers on campus, bringing professionals here to do presentations during lunch at the coast once a month. Next month, January 23rd, will be our first careers on campus. And also second semester for our juniors, we're offering junior seminars, and we do hope for 100% participation. Once a month, students are going to be scheduled for a junior seminar where there will be specific topics that we'll be covering each month to help them get ready for the college application process. Once they hit the end of the junior year, we have a college application workshop or a boot camp scheduled the last few weeks of school to make sure that they have everything they need for the summertime, those juniors moving into the senior year. And then first week of the senior year, we will have another college application boot camp, as well as college application workshops throughout the first at least month or two of school, the senior year, so that all of our seniors have the support that they need to make sure that they get all of their college applications dialed in and submitted early if it's appropriate for each student. We're also working on, we've had parent meetings we started with the seniors in September. We had November, we had a junior parent meeting, just to make sure that our parents are supported as well, to the best that we can. And I think that's kind of a summary of what we're offering our students and our parents.
Yeah, and Minnie does this incredible newsletter, and I realized I didn't link it into the email I sent this morning. So I don't know if you're able to, Minnie, can you link your November, December into the chat? If you're able
believe
to?
I can. Yes.
Yeah. And either way, I'll send it back out via email. But the newsletter, and I don't know, when we send a newsletter out, Minnie, is it just high school or are we sending it out to whole school?
I've just been sending it out to the high school, but I can certainly link in the middle school as well.
Yeah, is that something middle school parents would be interested in the college and career newsletter, just to see?
I don't know. I have a high schooler.
Okay. Well, when you were in middle school. Anyway, we'll do it. And if you don't want to open it, don't open it. So, I know you get a lot of emails, but we're also going to link them all on the webpage so they're all in the same place. But
Yes.
And so on January 23rd, as Mindy shared, will be our next lunch at the coast, but we'll have two great events. We'll have folks from Ascension, coming, and they're going to do, talks on some medical fields, and we have a new partnership with them. And then in addition, we also are hosting a kind of a mini entrepreneur conference that day at the college building, where there will be a workshop for business owners, for adults. But we're also going to have some of our students are going to be on like a reverse mentoring. So the adults can ask young adults, what do you want in the workplace? Like, what should we be thinking about like ahead of time? But it'll be the launch of our entrepreneurship program here on campus, which will have an internal Shark Tank, an external Shark Tank, and students who win and participate will actually get some money if they want to start their own business. So that's all part of our Dream Big program and the sponsors that we've obtained through the entrepreneurship program. So we got some really great next step, pieces. Business and medical sciences were the top two industries that are current high school students said that they want to get involved in. So as Mindy said, we're looking for other job, she called it career shadowing, which I like that term better, career shadowing opportunities, to do that. So those would be some great opportunities in 26. And then Ascension is also going to do some work at the middle school. So we're going to tie them into Kim and Courtney because we know we've got some middle school students. And I don't know if you know, but There's a rumor that we need 16,000 nurses in the state of Florida by like 2030. So if we could help that, or doctors, it'd be great to find a doctor that's not 30 miles away, right? Everybody. So great stuff from our entire counseling team. So we've got 4 full-time counselors for our 600 students. And Ashley does a great job with 198 middle schoolers is really like 19,000.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. With all the stuff they got going on. So she does an incredible job there. And one of the things that we've done is we've hired an additional teacher to support with the testing. So now our counselors don't have to spend so much time with the testing. They can actually work on the emotional support needs of all of our students and adults. Sometimes I think the counselors spend a lot of time with our adults. So thank you, Ashley and Mindy. And I'm going to look at the chat here to see if there's any questions for you all. I don't know. So there's a question. One of the questions you mentioned, program to teach the students, how to study. Yeah. So this is something we talked to the teachers lately about, and something I noticed that one thing is that our students have like 2,000 unread emails because they're getting an email every time that a Google Classroom kind of like notification comes. So it's like, oh, have we taught kids like how to manage their inbox or how to do? So I know during that SDS time, right, that's part of the opportunity is to help them with those skills. But Drew, if you want to talk about like how to study and things like that, we're starting to kind of try to get some consistent, practices around that.
Yeah, and we've actually also targeted students that aren't doing well on their exams, and we do work with them during SDS. And obviously, these are conversations and dialogue that they have in the classroom. But we have a specific class called Gear Up that we put kids in, and it's for different types of remediation. But in those classes, they do work on a lot of executive functioning skills that go from how to study on the exam, or how to study for a specific teacher's class, but also like get all your stuff out of your backpack and let's find these worksheets that were due that are all crammed in the bottom of your backpack and having them get organized. So there are conversations being had, but I do think that that's an area that we can improve, is especially as 9th and 10th graders, getting them to learn how to study for classes, especially whenever they get to the college, because they will have a lot of free time because they won't be in class the entire day, but using that time wisely and how to study for those exams.
Yeah. I think that's awesome.
Yeah.
Like Inslee came into school and didn't really have
Sure.
to study
Yeah.
prior. And now she's like, oh my gosh, I have to study.
Yeah.
She doesn't really know how. So
Yeah.
I think that a lot of her friends are the same way.
Sure.
They're freshmen, or they just need to learn how to study.
Yeah. And my daughter's in the same boat. So she went through the neighborhood school, which was great for her. But when she got up here, I noticed that she's been doing like a lot of note cards with her friends, and that wouldn't be something that she would naturally do. She's not like, I'm going to go get some note cards and study. But that's kind of the magic of this place too, is there are some kids that have really good study skills. So sometimes they're like, oh, that's a great idea. Let's make note cards and study together. I mean, she was out there this morning doing that. I would have never thought. She's a big sports person, so she would not be the note card with my friends before school, person. So, but yeah, it's definitely something that we continue to work on, and that we'll keep in the forefront. Just make sure that the kids they're able to be successful.
That's great.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the more conversations that our educators can have with each other too, the more helpful I think they could be, because we all learned, in different ways. And if you ever walk through the college, you'll always find groups of our students in the meeting rooms. They have some really cool meeting spaces up there, which is great to see. Kim, from the middle school, I know you guys got some strategies that you're using there too.
So I think with most of our 5th and 6th graders, they do a lot of studying kind of as part of their classroom activities. So teachers are trying to kind of, keep those in the classroom. They're still trying to teach them, hey, tonight, look over these, look over this or review this, and try to be very specific with it. And I think in 7th and 8th grade, teachers are asking them, here's a study guide here, trying to help narrow down different ways to study and give them different options through projects and things like that. Studying is one of the things that we do want to tackle in advisory, and we have not gotten to that section yet, but we'll work on. And I will say in middle school, they sometimes struggle with the drive to study, not because they don't want to do well. They definitely want to do well, but learning how to put in the time and what time is going to kind of give them the biggest bang for the buck. So they're still very much learning those study habits and really how to study. Are note cards good for me, or do I need to listen to something? So they're still trying to figure out what kind of learners they are and what strategies maybe work best for them personally. And we're gonna continue to work with them on helping to find those things out.
Yeah, and I think, Mindy, if you're still here, and Ashley, I believe through the Zello, right, the more students we can get into that program, the more they start to learn like their strengths and their learning styles. And we've talked about some other assessments. Some of our students have taken a disc, right? So those are just things that we could start to get to know them through interest inventories and other assessments, and make sure that all of our teachers are also trained on, hey, here's 4 different ways to do this activity, because there's not one way to do anything, right? Any way will work, but you have to work it. Go ahead, Mindy. We're gonna share on that.
Oh, Zello. So we've been working in small groups with 9th and 10th grade students on Zello lessons. And in there, it has like a personality inventory and a skills assessment inventory. And it does have some really good resources in there. We're just getting started first semester. We're meeting with all of them. Second semester, we'll do a follow-up and explore that even further, what their strengths are and how they can really focus on those strengths.
Yeah. And then, Mindy, you also helped us organize our SAT prep through IXL as well. And if that's something, I mean, I don't know what year you really need to start preparing for that, 9th grade or 10th grade, but I know we've got some middle school parents who have asked me. But right, so Kim, I'm pretty sure we could put any age student in that IXL SAT prep like program. Yes, I think so. And
I believe
Ashley,
so.
You should be
yeah.
able to. Yeah.
So I mean, and we're not saying you should do it, right? Everybody's developmental on their own time, but we have been asked, and what I've been told is that there's lots of families that are spending like hundreds of dollars an hour.
Lot.
And our SAT, scores have improved over the last, 2 years, just really based upon us using this IXL program, or just also talking to the teachers about what are some, strategies that we could teach and do these pieces. So don't think that you have to go and because everybody else went and did it, right? We're having some really good results through some internal tutoring from some of our college kids, in addition to just some extra practice through the IXL. And what happens is you take the SAT once, and I would imagine with the PSAT, you could probably do it. And we got a score, and then I think it just helps you kind of pick, right, Mindy? Like kind of helps you kind of create lessons
Yes.
to work on.
We just got the PSAT 910 and the NMSQT scores back, and I'm working on plugging all of those in for every single student. So our grades 9 through 11 will all have access to the study tools that would be for SAT. Once a student takes the ACT, we have those as a baseline as well that we can put in IXL, and it comes up with a very personalized learning strategy or skills that they need to work on through IXL, and it's self-paced, self-directed. We just got the approval to add the pre-ACT, which is really exciting. We're working on being able to offer that here for our students as well. So it does. Sometimes the ACT is a preferred exam over the SAT, so we want to make sure that our students have the option to explore both exams. So once we get all those scores in there, and students can even input their own scores once they take an exam. And again, it will give them a personalized learning strategies on how to improve their test scores.
So I'm confused. Obviously, like when I went to high school, I took the ACT and the SAT before I left high school going into college when I was a senior. Well, now my son is going to be a senior when he's actually he's going into college when he's like in 10th grade. When does he take the real SAT.
He can take it as many times as he wants. So he doesn't have to, I mean, in 10th grade is the first time.
SAT, like,
Yeah.
I don't know,
Yep. So
2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago.
So his SAT score doesn't determine his entrance into Northwest Florida State College. So he's technically a senior when he's really a senior. Because he's still taking high school classes. They're just at the college level right now.
Gotcha.
So, and then he could take it as many times as he needs to get the score that he wants. I mean, my daughter, she's a senior and she actually retook the SATs, I think, twice this year. So I mean, you can take it until you need to, and then they use your total cum score, I think, and it goes into your Common App, right? Is that how it works, Mindy? And that's kind of where they see it. So,
we recommend that students start in their junior year. Whenever you look at the skills that they need to perform at that level, Algebra 2 is there's Algebra 1, Geometry, and Algebra 2 on both the SAT and ACT goes through trigonometry. So if they don't have those, the foundations in those classes, then of course they're not going to be familiar with the math that's on the exam. So typically junior year, early on, or second semester of junior year is typically the time that students take both the ACT and SAT for college entrance so that they can come up with a study plan and be ready whenever, or with their scores whenever they start applying to colleges their senior year.
Yeah.
Gotcha. The pre-ACT and the pre-SAT just give us a baseline of what they need to work on so that they're ready whenever they do take the SAT or the ACT.
Yeah. Does that make sense? Yeah. Yeah. And hey, there's a question about when to actually study during the day. So, and the question is about something about when to study because of the block scheduling. Can you talk about the day of a student and when those opportunities?
Yeah. So in the mornings, there's two blocks. So we have a block from 7:45 to 9:25, and then another block from 9:30 to around 11, and then we have lunch. And then whenever we come back, they have another block period, and then in between that third block and seventh block, Monday through Thursday, there's a 35-minute class that we call SDS. And so students are allowed to go either study, go get help from a teacher. I have kids that come to the first floor commons. They just want a quiet space. They don't want to have interactions with the teacher. They just want to be able to study in a quiet space. So I have kids in there. They can go to Chad and get, certifications. So there is a time Monday through Thursday for about 35 minutes that they can, that's designated. I mean, that we've set up for that. It's called self-directed study, is SDS. So they self-direct themselves, or kids that are performing below grade level, we actually have them go to a teacher that is either a reading coach or a math coach a couple of days a week that they go see. But every day but Friday, we have something, some time set aside for them to go.
Build into the day. And then there's tutoring
before and after
every
school.
day.
Yeah, before school for sure, every day.
Yeah. So those are a couple opportunities, and I would just reach out. You could start with Drew if you want. He can kind of guide you, but unless the student is like told you got to be in this room because you're missing an assignment or you're falling behind, which is still extra help and tutoring and like some study time. But yeah, I mean every day you'll find kids in any of these carousels and stuff like that doing some quiet time.
Yeah, and if the kids, I mean, like Miss Trafton, she didn't have a lot of kids tutoring at the beginning of the year, so she didn't have it, but now she's got a handful of kids that are coming. So if your child needs extra help, for the most part, teachers, and depending on their schedules, are able to make it, before or after school, if they can't make it during that SDS period, to come to tutor kids. And again, we pay our teachers, so it's pretty cool.
Yeah, yeah. So hopefully that's helpful to the question in the chat, and if not, reach out to Drew and he'll guide you in the right direction for that. And that would be with your counselor, because we want to help everybody. We don't want to lose any students. And this is what I told the prospective new families last night about a lot of people say it's hard here, but what I hear from the Seaside neighborhood school kids is that boy, high school is a lot easier than middle school. And then I hear from the college kids, oh my God, college is so easy compared to what high school was. So, we do build them up, gives them some good, strong foundations, but I think it's those habits that they're creating. But our at-risk list is honor roll. straight Bs. I mean, if you've got a 3.2 grade point average, we're watching you because we don't want you to fall below the 3.0. So that is, right, those are some like unrealistic expectations for a lot of kids. I would have never, probably been able to hang at a 3.0.
So it's unweighted.
Yeah, unweighted, right. So so let's keep it in perspective sometimes when our student has a C here or there, like, it's not the end of the world, right? But we do work diligently to keep our thumb on the pulse of their grades and kind of what's going on in their life. We watch them every day. I think that's one of the beauties of only having 250 students on campus with 25, 30 adults is we see everybody 6, 7 times a day. And you could tell right away through their body language that something's going on. Or if they're late, right? So we've got someone assigned if they have too many tardies or too many absences. There's, phone calls home after 5, and we're really trying to check on, see what's happening. So we are, and teachers take attendance every period. So if your kid's not in class, you're probably getting notified, right? So you'll know if they're not. And then there's an immediate text thread. Has anybody seen Drew Ward? Because he's not in where he's supposed to be. And that actually happens. It happened yesterday.
It is.
So, right? So we are constantly watching to see what is happening. We've got all the folks on board to do that. It's the same at the middle school. They take attendance every period too. And same thing, right? It's a very small school where you're watching students walk the circle every day. They're coming into multiple classes. The teachers are communicating like, hey, Tom's not looking too well today, right? He may need a 5-minute, kind of breather. So did I miss any other chats? The best way to reach out to the counselors about grades. So you should have access to the teacheries, which I just actually got a notification about my son, right? So that's the first way. You should be able to look at all of your students' grades if they're in 9 through 10, sorry, 5 through 10 every day. Right, yes. Oh, that's right. Yeah, teacheries at the middle school and at the high school would be focused. So that's your first daily look. And then the second piece was if you don't have all the teachers' emails, we did have to take all the teachers' emails off because we had someone out there who was sending not nice messages. So we can make sure
from out of state. It was like
it was a very rare situation. So we took it down. But can we make sure that the teachers' emails are in the week of? I know I sent it out maybe like a week of, but just kind of like a place where they can get it. And if you don't know, you can email Drew if you're a high school mom. Or him if not. And then your counselor it's Miss Greenway if your last name's M through Z.
Yep.
And Armstrong if it's A through L. So you should be meeting with them, or your child should be meeting with them every semester. Is that right?
Yeah. I mean, they should be meeting with them. Yeah, for sure.
At least once a semester, because that's to pick your classes, to go over your grad plan if you're in high school, and make sure that you're on track. So I can't see the parent's name who asked that, but you can reach out to us and we'll make sure we get you in the right place today. Okay. All right. Anything else from any of the parents, questions, or Mindy or Ashley or Kim? Kim and Drew are just going to kind of give like a 3 things to look forward to over the next, 30 to 90 days and we'll head back. So Kim, you wanna lead off?
Sure. We are super excited for December 11th. That is going to be our Winter Fest. So all of our arts programming are going to kind of be center stage. So we'll have band performances, theater performances. We'll have all the kids' art on display. We're going to have performances by the Spirit Squad. So just going to be a great night. Culinary is going to have hot chocolate and some treats for us. So it's going to be a great night. That's December 11th. Really invite anybody to come. It's going to be a great way to just kind of celebrate the holidays and celebrate the arts. So we hope everybody will come out. If you want to buy Chick-fil-A and just make it easy, night out with the family. I think that's going to be great. Tomorrow, our 5th graders leave for SeaWorld, and we're super excited. The girls will spend the night at the Dolphin Aquarium, and the guys are going to be in the they were in the Shark Tank last year, and I think this year they're in the Manta Ray Aquarium. So it's going to be a great experience for them. 8th grade trip is coming up as well, but we do have the Amazing Shake coming up in January. So we're super excited about getting all of that off the ground. And we need 80 volunteers to pull our amazing shake off. And we're always so fortunate to get all of them. So if you haven't signed up to be a volunteer, we'd love to have you. Look for that information in the Shark Bites as well as the week of this weekend. We're excited for Ashley's Parent University, and we are starting a new collaboration, both the high school and the middle school, with K-12 Lift, which I think is going to just give us a great way to look at some of our data and make decisions and help students. So we're looking forward to that as well.
If you haven't participated or seen the Amazing Shake, really take the time. It's Kim, what are the days? It's the 8th and 9th of January. Is that right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah. And it is, I mean, if you want to see middle schoolers express themselves, it's unreal to see the gauntlet that they go through those 2 days and get a real opportunity to shine and be a volunteer, or because you can actually be part of like the panel, right? Like there's like lots of ways you can volunteer. You can engage and be like a part of one of the challenges, or just help a setup. But it's mind blowing. And last night I had multiple moms and dads walk out of here shaking their heads about how well our kids just advocate and communicate for themselves. And they only saw 6. And I was like, oh, there's like, maybe 50 or 60 times that every day. I just want to be a better human because they're just so much better than I was at that age. So
without a doubt.
Some really great stuff. And it kicks off with the Amazing Shake. So that's a really great opportunity. So thanks, Kim, for that. Yeah. Drew?
Yeah. So we're actually got an event that we're going to tomorrow after school. We're going to take a group of kiddos that have been working with Miss Rayleigh's class with the underwater ROV, which is a remotely operated vehicle. They go check the different oyster beds and seabeds. And anyways, they've been going to Vortex Springs with a local expert that was a parent of a kid that actually he graduated last year, so he didn't even have a student in the school. But they take the kids up 2 days a month, and they go do this remote control thing up in Vortex Springs and take samples and do all types of fun stuff. So we're going to take those kiddos to New Orleans tomorrow and Friday to it's really a workboat convention, but they have a bunch of underwater ROV stuff there. So this big convention. So we're going to stay the night tomorrow night, and then Friday go to this big convention and do all that. So we're taking a group of kids tomorrow to do that. Friday is our winter formal. So if you have a high school kid, I'm sure you heard all about it. I have a daughter here too. So I know that I'm going to miss it this year, but they always have a blast. So winter formal is this Friday. Everybody should have got my email for the semester exams. So just make sure your kids are getting rest. It is like a stressful time for the kids. It's a stressful time of the year for families sometimes. So it just happens to all coincide at once. But we are really intentional of putting specific tests on specific days so that they only have a couple and that they're not overloaded. That's why we're starting next Wednesday with some of the AP exams that are longer and probably more, cumbersome because there's writing components to those pieces. So starting next Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, we'll start some semester exams, and then it's by period the following day. And so if you have kids that are at the college, they may have some exams next week too. And so we've got contingency plans if that's the case. So you should have had an email. If you did not receive that email, please contact me, because you do want to put those on a calendar to make sure that your kids are rested and ready to go. And then Dr. Miller talked about January 23rd. There's a whole bunch of stuff going on campus, as well as Lunch at the Coast for January will be that time. So we've got a bunch of stuff going on then. And then we'll also take our yearly universal trip in January. So I think we're up to 200 and something kids maybe that are going.
They need chaperones, I heard.
Yeah, we need some chaperones if anybody wants to go to Universal. I usually go they're good. I mean, they're all in we have them geo-fenced a little bit with Life 360.
Yeah.
That's right.
We put them all on Life 360, and we're like constantly watching to make sure that they're all in the middle blob. Yeah, that's basically what it is. And we're constantly like,
God, I was getting those notifications last year here. I was like,
well, we meet up like every 3 or 4 hours to make sure that, take attendance just to make sure that everybody's there and nobody's lost. So anyways.
And that was one of the things you mentioned lunch at the coast, and there was a comment last year about, hey, could you do like lunch trucks? And we would need lunch trucks because we got 250 to 300, kids we're feeding in a short time.
Yeah.
So that could be something we could work again to organize, but it would take 3 to 5 lunch trucks probably to feed everybody. So that's one of the reasons why we try to do something that's easy for the students to,
ordered ahead of time so that we can
that's right.
just serve it.
Yeah, but we're always good for those ideas if folks want to help organize. The student government actually
they run it all,
organizes everything. So that's something we can kind of pitch them and maybe help them with the idea. But we have tried a lunch truck before. I just remember the line being so
long. Well, we did gelato and it was just like out the door.
We're working on it, but now we have more space, more opportunities. So we'll see what we can do. Oh, and about the stress. So like, I think one of the most important things is we talk to the teachers about not adding stress, right? And they don't, right? They don't, because kids have worked so hard to get to this point. So remember that they really put a lot of time and effort into it. Always rely on the counseling team. And I'm sure the counselors are going to be sending out some sort of, hey, here's how to deal with any anxious behaviors. And here's some things you could do to make sure that you're, coming in. But sleep is really, really important.
Yeah. No.
And it's been great. So, and then, especially during these times of year, right? Emotions are high, like everywhere. And so I just kind of put a reminder in an email about, hey, what's the process if I have a concern or like a complaint? Always starts with your teacher first. Remember that, here at the high school, some of them teach all day without a break. Right. They have one planning period per every 8, classes or something, or, 7.
Yep,
It's about the same at the middle school. So, they might not get to your email that day, right? So we usually say, hey, 24 to 48 hours, business hours. And, we ask the staff, right? No more than 3 emails back and forth. If you're on your 30, just grab a phone and call them, because we can all misunderstand emails and spend 45 minutes trying to craft the perfect thing or run it through ChatGPT. Yeah, right. Just pick up the phone and say, hey, this is what it, means. So always, think about that. So it first goes to your teacher, then it could go to your building principal if you're not, satisfied with, with the response. And then I'm above that. But we also have our parent liaison. So I sent Dr. Knuckles information out in the email again, today. So this is more about, right? They're not a supervisor, but they can help a parent kind of steer their communication in the right way and make sure that we are addressing. And then there's also, if it's called complaint in our policy manual. It's really a grievance. There's a lot of complaints, right? But like a grievance is, I don't think that the school followed its rules, or you didn't abide by the policy. And there's a process there. So you could do that. You can also come to a board meeting and, you could speak, you get, 3 minutes to do a public comment, which is fine. We just always ask like, hey, we're here for your kid. So let's have a conversation about, let's sit down, let's get on the same page. But these 3 weeks are always high for everybody, right? Because everybody's shopping for gifts and doing things, and emotions are high, and we're remembering maybe loved ones lost. It's a tough time. So just everybody, if we could, just let's declare noble intent, right? Everybody has the right goal here, and we're all for your student. And then I just remind everybody about, our website's not up to date. I'm 100% aware, and we will get to it, but it's got the most accurate information that you need. We got some outdated stuff we've got to fix, but the weekly school newsletter, Melissa here at the high school and Marianne, they spent a lot of time on it. It's got the most up to date. And then the Sunday week of has like your almost minute by minute. So that's really probably the best 2 places to find information. The school website calendar through like the Google Calendar, that's up to date. You guys gave us that feedback. So I think for the last 1.5 years, that's been running. And then the official school social media pages. So there's a Seaside Neighborhood and there's a Seacoast. Now there's other pages out there that have our name. It's not us. It might be an old staff member. Could be like our student government page. I'd say it's inaccurate, but it's not coming from us. So if you want to actually follow, but I would say like the Principal's Week of is probably the best place to find the most up-to-date.
The week of in the newsletter anywhere at the high school for sure. And we've started, and that was some feedback that we got from our upperclassmen. And that's what Miss Larson, she sends out the one that's just targets our 11th and 12th graders, or any college student. But those are targeted for the upperclassmen too, because I know sometimes there's a lot to do with 9th and 10th grade in my WECO, because those are the kids that we interact with like every single day. But Miss Larson's sending out those college and career blasts. So those have been super helpful.
Yeah.
Yep.
There's a question. Can you still sign up for Universal? If maybe, I think I heard yesterday they're on a wait list, but
yeah, there is a wait list.
Reach out to the counselors.
The counselors are running
today.
the show. Yeah. Because I think Monday was the deadline. We had some that are going to go in the van, but Monday was the cutoff. But reach out to the counselors, because there's sometimes kids at the last minute they can't go. So just get added to the wait list. Yep.
And a big thank you to everybody. We did raise about a little over $15,000 yesterday on cool. Giving Day, which is fantastic. And I just kind of want to, to remind folks, because I put like our staffing numbers in here, like pretty much 100% of our funds from the state go to pay all of our teachers and to just keep the lights on. Right. And then everything else that we do, athletics, clubs, extracurriculars, that all comes from the race, funds, or some, donated funds, or our annual fund. So, you may think I can't do even $10 a month, right? I mean, that's $100 a year. We got 400 families. That's 40,000 a year to really help best. And that will help with our field trips and some other costs too. So that's our goal, is to make it so everything's kind of earmarked, and we're not asking for, Universal. Those are all kind of like really, really special things, but sometimes get those extra pieces. But then you can also get a legacy tile, and that's here at the high school. And so there's 3 sizes. There's a 6x9, like a 12x12, and something else. But we're gonna probably put them on the outside of the high school building. So as you're walking down, we're trying to see if we can't put all the tiles right there by the stairway. And so even that, you could do $100 a month over 5 years and get a $5,000 tile. So don't think I can't make a difference. Any dollar matters. Any hour matters. So make sure that you're logging your volunteer time. That's up to date on our webpage. But we just really appreciate. We couldn't do this without like our partners, like St. Joe Foundation is a huge grant, partner. We've got a lot of grants. Cox Communications just, gave us money for STEM and art. So we're constantly working. I think this year alone, we've already raised about 300,000 in like a grant, fund. Now that doesn't ever pay for people. It always, will pay for like equipment. So all these new boards that you see in both schools came from a grant, whether it's a Triumph grant or St. Joe. But we really appreciate everybody's help and assistance and all that. So your time and your talent are always welcome on campus. So, I don't see any more chat. Kim, do you have anything else?
No, I'm good. Happy holidays.
That's right. Everybody have a good one. Yeah. Find us on campus, go to Winterfest, sign up for Amazing Shake. It's going to be great. And sign up if you really want an adventure. Sign up for Universal and go hang out with 300 teenagers over 2 days.
It's a good time. We have good kids.
That's right. We do. We have amazing kids. We have amazing kids and amazing parents. All right. Well, thanks everybody. Have a great one. Our next one will probably be late, January, early February, before the race. Thanks again. Bye-bye.
All right.
Thanks, Mindy and Ashley.